And they start things off with a carry by Gibbs here.
And the big boys up front, they're going to stop him right at the line. Call it no gain on the game's first play. And it's second down now.
Early down stuff to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority one.
Throwing here is May. Pass complete there to Nakua. Room here to run.
And he will go out right near the 35-yard line. That one goes for 36 yards.
Brandon, we've both been around the game long enough that we know that in pregame, defenses are pretty amped up, aren't they? I mean, they're pounding lockers, and they can't wait to get out there. But when you hit them with some big pass plays early, it takes the starch right out of them.
So on the other side of the field now, it's 1st and 10 as they've got things rolling on this drive.
On 1st and 10 here.
And a loose football.
But it looks like one of the DBs has it.
And they will take over at the 26-yard line.
Do you remember in preseason we were going to the different training camps and visiting teams, and we always would see the running backs working out and going through those gauntlet drills, and, you know, guys either slapping at the ball or the machines. You got to learn to take care of it.
Yeah, they lost it there. Big fumble. They'll come out throwing here on 1st down. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. 2nd and 2. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a 1st down. Well done. He got 29 yards that time.
And Charles, with that completion, I'm told that puts him now over 3,000 yards passing on the campaign.
And Brandon, I think we have to start to think about where we are in the season, because right now, 4,000 is not out of the question. I think a big game or two, he's certainly capable of getting that done.
So they take the flag and the yardage that comes with it. From the gun, he'll hand this off.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
Part of their struggles last week was getting these negative plays on 1st and 2nd down. That's something they have to be wary of as this game continues.
Here we go on 2nd and 12. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on, 3rd down.
But you look at this Patriots defense.
And they've played well against the pass. Currently ranked 7th in the NFL.
Yeah, defending the pass hasn't been an issue for them. It's been stopping the run. And if they don't stop the run, they can't get back to their strength, which is guarding against the air attack.
On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw.
Able to find the open man. That's complete.
Touchdown!
Chris Olave.
His 3rd touchdown now on the year.
And the Dragons take the early turnover and convert it into an opening touchdown.
Now, this is a crew, they've come out flat their last 2 games, both losses, but just judging by the energy level, they look different here early, and that touchdown shows how.
Yeah, it seems to me that touchdown gets them off the treadmill. Because, you know, you've been on the treadmill. I've seen you work out. You go forever and ever, and it tells you you've gone somewhere, but you're really out here in the same spot. They've exchanged it for an escalator. Still got some hills to climb, but they can get there.
These are good analogies. I run outside sometimes, though. You know, get some fresh air, a little sun on your face.
A little wind in there.
Yeah, that's right.
And no chance to see a return on the dynamic kickoff. They'll move this out to the 30-yard line. The Pats at the line, ready to go.
They had the fumble on the last drive, wound up leading to the opening touchdown. Now they'll try again here, 1st and 10. He finds Douglas complete, and he goes out right around the 39. That's probably as simple of a throw as he'll have all game.
And good for everyone. Good for his completion percentage. Good for the receptions for the receivers. But you know how they work on that. They have footballs with no laces. So that as soon as you get the snap, you're just throwing the football. All right? You're not trying to find the laces and grip it a certain way. That takes time. Just get the ball and throw it. So that's how they practice it all the time now, too.
And this is where coaches sometimes fall into different camps. Your guy just fumbled. It led to a touchdown. Do you stay with him or do you put him in the doghouse? This is definitely a show of confidence here as he's right back out there and carrying the ball again.
To the air, May. On the throw, led him too much that time. It's incomplete.
Just a little beyond the reach there of his receiver. That's probably one he wishes he had back.
He wishes it had been 7-on-7 in practice, or maybe even routes versus air, because that's a completion he makes, 9.9 times out of 10? Just missed that one.
Looking left side, and it's complete. Now he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. That one covers 24 yards. It's a 1st down.
Gibbs straight ahead.
And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line.
And that's how you get back in good graces with your head coach after you fumbled the last time out. He's determined, A, to hold on to the football, and B, to run with purpose and make up for his mistake. That's a heck of a run right there.
They go play action now. May.
Nowhere to turn this time, and he goes down. Sacked back at the 29.
Aleem McNeil busting through to get him for a loss of 6.
They got to get to the 23 here on 3rd.
Here's May. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he will have a Patriots 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
What a drive this has been, just chewing up the yardage. And here's one of their best plays yet as they finally get down into the red zone and look to finish this off with 6.
After 1, 7-0 on EA Sports. Start of the 2nd quarter, and it's the Patriots in control of the football as they've got it with a 1st and 10.
To the flat, that's complete to his running back. And just 3 yards on the catch there. He couldn't get away. And that will bring up 2nd down.
That's a good job there by the corner. We do talk about this a lot, that a lot of corners see their job as simply covering receivers. Tackling isn't everyone's thing. But in this case, he came up quickly and made a nice, sure tackle.
On play action, May.
And he's going to be dropped back at the 15-yard line.
Ryan Brzee fought in and got him down.
And another long drive from the offense, but the defense is denying them the end zone. Nothing to show for the last drive offensively. They can't come away empty-handed again.
Going to need a crafty play call here. 14 yards is what they need to try to convert this thing.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. To the goal line, but it's incomplete.
Oh, the were so close, that close to their first points of the game. Just needed to hang on just a second longer, but he couldn't complete the process of the catch through the jostling from the defender.
And his kick is good. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3.
So they're able to end that drive with 3 points in this one-possession ball game.
And ideally, you want to end every drive with points. Most quarterbacks would tell you, let's end it with a kick, right? A PAT, that's number one. Field goal you'll take. Punts, you really don't want to do that. In this case, they'll take the field goal and get prepared for the rest of the game.
So after the field goal, back out his groupie to send this one away. And no run back here. That's going to be a touchback, and we'll bring it out to the 30-yard line. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. Now they have the game here followed by the open date on their calendar next weekend. And, Charles, this is a crew that you have to think really is relishing the opportunity to be on the couch for a few days.
Yeah, they certainly are, but let's face it, partner. They can't get caught looking ahead to that couch time while they're playing this one. They've got to take care of business first.
So a little bit of a stiffer challenge now. 1st and 15 following the delay of game. Following the penalty, they'll go. And oh, it coughed it up. And it's picked up by the Patriots. And they will take over at the 26-yard line. And a little careless there, Charles, on that carry.
And it's not just having two hands on the ball. It's tucking it away. It's using your body to keep people shielded off. It's so many different things into taking care of it and having ball security. In that case, though, we didn't see it happen.
They had to settle for 3 last drive, hoping this second go-around ends in 6. In good position, 1st and 10. Head off to Gibbs, headed right here.
And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
To throw, it's May. He's got it complete to Gibbs.
And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done. That'll be a New England 1st down, a gain of 12.
They'll throw with May. And that one drops down, incomplete. Good coverage there, forced the ball free, and it's 2nd down. Looking to throw, May. Going underneath, Gibbs has it.
And he's in. Touchdown, Patriots.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
A 14-yard touchdown. And the Patriots have taken the lead.
CD, it seemed like they were so focused on the guys out wide, they forgot about him out of the backfield.
That's a really good point because you've got to communicate, and oftentimes when you start counting receivers, that's exactly what you do. You start from the widest receiver, work your way inside. Who gets lost sometimes? The back in the backfield. That's exactly what happened there.
And he got into the end zone. After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away. And no run back forthcoming, so this will come out to the 30. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. Well, partner, fast forward with me for a second. Remember, next week they have the open week, so they're going to get some extended rest. Does that change how they manage the rest of this one?
I think it does a little bit, but not by too much, because you're right. You get the extra rest. You get a chance to heal up and kind of, do a little bit of a reset for this team. But it's also 7 extra days to think back to the last time you were on the field. So now, a little more importance on what they're getting done because they carry it with them for essentially 2 weeks.
They'll look to throw now on first down.
Oh, this one incomplete. The pressure got to him as he released it, and it's second down.
Well, the great coach said football is really a simple game. Rush theirs, protect yours. And he's talking about those guys throwing the football. In this situation, the rush one, hitting the quarterback and forcing him into an incompletion.
He'll try again with the arm here on second down. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And he'll get it out a couple yards shy of midfield at the 48. Again, he'll drop to throw. And that's going to be incomplete. The coverage too good there. The contact popped the ball free, and it's fourth down.
This is certainly a team that has proven it likes to target its backs through the air, and defensively, they were aware of that and certainly were prepared on that throw.
They bring their punter out there now as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. And that'll hit at the 5 and go into the end zone for a touchback.
New England with a first down as they begin the drive. They're starting to pull away with this one. Early on that first quarter, they didn't look so great offensively. What has changed?
Sometimes it's just a matter of doing what you plan to do better. Sometimes you just put that all together and you execute. Other times it's just in a simple adjustment in your game plan, finding a spot that maybe was a little weaker than maybe you thought, and going to that. So many different things, so many different ways, but right now, you got to like what they're doing. They have put distance between themselves and their opponent.
Looking to add on here in the second quarter.
Today's NFL, these big guys are featured receivers. They move them all over the place to try and find good matchups, and they had one. They were just unable to complete the pass.
After the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. Back to throw here.
Going to be taken in here by Nakua.
And he's going to get 7 out of this before being taken down at the 27. Two minutes remaining in the first half. 10-7, our score. A reminder that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll check in with Jonathan Coachman from Orlando. He'll have highlights and analysis of this first half of play. On 3rd and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air.
That is caught. And he will have a Patriots first down by a couple of yards as they're able to convert here on 3rd and 3.
That's a big conversion there on 3rd down because they did not want to give the ball up here late in the half. They'd love to take the clock all the way down and score. This will definitely help the cause.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10.
From the shotgun, May with it. Well, he was hit as he threw it there, and that one winds up incomplete.
So many times we've seen him try to escape the pocket and do something with his legs, but in this case, the pressure was too intense, and he made the wise choice to just get rid of the football and make sure no one was going to get it.
Setting up the screen, this is Gibbs. 5 yards, now it's 3rd and 5.
Boy, that one was well read defensively, and this is all about diagnosis as a safety and being decisive because he saw it setting up in front of him, able to knife through there and make the play.
From the shotgun, it's May. He's got his target. That's complete.
And he is brought down, but not before reaching the 30. A big play that time on the catch and run. 34 yards. Now the Patriots going to use one of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. So the big play has them all the way down to the 30 now for 1st and 10. Back to throw again. He finds his man, complete. It's Douglas. And down inside the 15 he goes. Now the Patriots will use the second of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 34 seconds to go before halftime.
Here's a 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. From the gun, it's May.
Rolling to his right. And down inside the 10 here before he's out of bounds right around the 7. Nice work to get 7 out of that, and it's 2nd down.
I did like his decision-making there to make sure they picked up something instead of forcing a throw. Now they've got more manageable play coming up to try and pick up the 1st down, and don't rule out the possibility that he just keeps it and runs again.
Throwing here is May.
And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. Now back to throw. Hammering for the goal line. He loses the football.
And this ball recovered by the offense, but remember, they cannot advance it here in the final 2 minutes of the half. So this will be blown dead, and it'll come back to the spot of the fumble.
So another 3rd down conversion, and now they've got a 1st and goal. And now we're going to get a timeout here called by the defense, as they'll stop it with 17 seconds to go in this first half of action. They'll drop to throw. Escaping the pressure right. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Patriot touchdown.
Drake May.
As the first half is winding down.
And the Patriots will extend their lead here just before halftime. Here's Groupie for the PAT.
Oh, how about this? No good. Just his 2nd miss of the year, and our score will stay right where it is.
So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away.
Running room at the 50. Look out. And a heck of a return as he goes out of bounds across the 50 inside the 45.
Now, that's the kind of return that warms the heart of a special teams coach. He'll be pushing us next time, Brandon, to make sure his guys are introduced in the starting lineups. These guys have such an influence on every game. The unsung heroes, remember, they have their own meetings, their own practice time, heck, their own spot on the bench in order to be ready to play each and every week.
They'll throw now on the final play. Quick hitter here. It's complete. Time for a break. We've hit halftime. 2 quarters down. 2 still remain. We step aside. This is the NFL on EA Sports. Welcome back. Halftime over. We are ready for quarter number 3. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gordon. So this a 2-possession ball game as we get back underway, set for the 3rd quarter. And this is going to be returned from the middle of the end zone. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. And they're still very much in this game, although they do trail. What's the game plan, Charles, for the second half?
It might be a little counterintuitive because most people will think losing equals passing the ball more, but I'd establish the running game. They kind of went away from it in the first half. I think if they get back in balance, it'll help them when they put the ball back in the air.
Now 2nd and 3.
Here we go.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. Open man has got it, the tight end. Big strides, look at him go. And he will step out of bounds here inside the 30. And a huge play that time. 42 yards. So into Pat's territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 27. Looking to throw. This is caught. And he will take this one in for a touchdown. Chris Olave with his 2nd touchdown of the game, 4th of the year. And the Dragons have cut it back within a score.
I know Paul Revere talked about by land or by sea, right? You know, 1 by land, 2 by sea. He didn't mention air because right now we're seeing a big-time performance, aren't we? That's 2 touchdowns so far in this game.
Where'd you pull that one from?
And, you know, every now and then I actually listened in history class.
And you're just a scholar all the way around. You're reading all the time. I like that you fit that into the broadcast.
You know, I just grab a nugget when I can.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And we will not have a return. They'll bring this to the 30. The Pats at the line, ready to go. But Charles, they still have the lead despite their defense giving up a touchdown on the previous possession. And even though they have that lead, it feels like a back-and-forth ball game where to try to get momentum back, maybe they need at least 3 here on this drive.
I think you're right about that, Brandon, because your game plan doesn't change. I do believe your urgency does because of the last score that went against your team. So what you want to do now is have your own drive and try and make sure that that momentum stays in your camp.
Now 2nd and 8 at the 32-yard line.
Let's go.
He finds Douglas complete. Short completion, just 4 yards. And now we've got a 3rd and 4. In search of 4 yards here to pick up the first down. To the air, May. Pass complete there to Nakua. And he's got the first down as he's up to the 45-yard line. They get 9 out of that one, and as a result, the drive continues.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. First down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
So the completion results there in 9 yards. And that'll give him a short yardage situation here for 2nd down. And at his size, he's a smaller back. You can get him the football. He can kind of get lost, make someone miss. It's good for him.
Yeah, it's great for him. I like what you said there. Sometimes he gets lost in the traffic a little bit. But get him out in the open field into some space. That plays to his strengths the best and keeps him out of it where all the big boys are. You know, make someone miss in the open field.
They tried to throw on 2nd down, unsuccessful. Now it's 3rd and 1. Gibbs will try and pick it up. And he's got the first down yardage before he's brought down at the 42. A gain of 4 that time as the drive continues. Going back to Gibbs on 1st down. Just a yard on the 1st down carry, so it's 2nd and 9. In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
Yeah, they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin, too.
Here's May. Going to throw right side here, complete. It'll go as a gain of 4, and it brings up 3rd and 5 now. They'll need 5 on this play to move the sticks. From the gun on 3rd down is May. And that will be incomplete.
So many times when we talk about coverage, we're just talking about a defender running with a receiver, but a big part of it is understanding where the football is, finding it. In this case, when it arrived, it wasn't a surprise, and he was able to bat it away.
That's on target, but it's no good. He had it on line, but it came up just shy of the crossbar, and that will keep this a 2-point game.
Yeah, 55 yards is anything but a gimme. You've got to really concentrate on your leg swing and proper technique. This time, though, he's unable to convert.
The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out, looking to repeat that in Charles's defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways because you know they're both motivated. They both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other.
Ball right on the 50-yard line. Here's 2nd down and 5. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. He's going to hit his man out of the backfield, complete. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we've played 3 quarters. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Welcome back to Toronto. It's been a good one so far, just a 2-point game here as we get set for quarter number 4. A field goal from this spot likely out of the question. They've got to get closer here on 3rd down. And they'll run on the inside handoff. And boy, he is very close to a first down, but from where they're spotting that football, he's going to be a foot or so short. This late in the game, Charles, I think you maybe... seriously have to think about going for it.
Especially where they are in terms of field position, because this is almost like no man's land. Might hurt your punter because there might not be enough space, maybe too far for your field goal kicker. I'm like the old rule. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Possession is 9/10 of winning the game. Go for it. Get the first down. Close it out.
Ready up.
One score down. Here we go. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. They'll try and sneak it here. And they will touch him down, but not before he gets the first. They only got a couple, but a couple's all that they needed as they convert on 4th. Only needed a few inches to pick it up and get behind your center and burrow forward like he did.
And remember what the GMs have told us? We build an offensive line starting with our center, the guy who can make all the line calls and also move those big defensive tackles in order to pick up first downs.
And that'll be off the mark, too far out in front, and it's incomplete.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps to have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
79 Broncos.
And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now it brings up 3rd down.
My first thought is surprise because that's one of the better tight ends around, and I've seen him pull in balls like this before. But how about a little credit to the defense forcing that incompletion?
Let's go now.
On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. The pickup of 11, and it moves the chains.
Well, they've certainly had their share of troubles running the football in this one, but this play is almost an extension of the running game right here. They set up the screen, let him work out in space on the perimeter, and he turns it into a big pickup.
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 11. He finds his man, complete. It's Clark. And finally, down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. A big play there on the catch and run, and it'll give them a fresh set of downs.
And here we are in the 4th quarter, partner, and watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there, not just for himself.
And did he get the feet down? Yes, touchdown. A 7-yard touchdown grab. And the Dragons have moved out in front here in the 4th quarter. Extra point splits the uprights, and the lead is up to 5. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And not willing to risk a return. This ball's going to come out to the 30-yard line. New England with a first down as they begin the drive. The pressure is on now. They're being shut out here in the 2nd half after a decent first half offensively. And they need their best drive of the game right here. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the first down run. He gets maybe 3. And the trend continues here in the 4th like it was in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. He's had nowhere to run.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, why do they keep feeding him the football? Well, they trust him first and foremost. They do believe that over time he might actually pop one of these runs. The bottom line is he takes care of the ball well for them, so they'll keep handing it to him.
A 10-yard pickup, and it's enough for a Patriot first down.
We always talk about having to read defenses and how complicated that is. Well, this was an excellent read. Read the pressure and got rid of the football before it even got to him for a nice game.
And when they're blitzing like that, running back usually a good spot to go to the football?
Without a doubt, because he's right in your sight line or he's near you. So you're able to just get it to him easily. And once he gets in space, that's usually a good matchup for him.
2nd and 10. To throw, it's May. And this one is going to be off the mark, too far out in front. He shook his head right when he released that throw. He knew it was going to be a little off target.
Yeah, the excitement got him on that one. Wasn't able to control the fact the receiver was open, and it would have been an easy throw.
Looking to throw, May. Oh, a huge mistake late. It's intercepted.
And that's a great example of ball skills right there, partner. You and I do a lot of games, and I can't tell you how many guys look to run with the football before they've intercepted it. So that's a nice job of focusing on the task at hand and coming away with the interception.
The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. Another important fourth-quarter series coming up. That last INT helping to maintain their slim advantage. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. Now the Patriots going to use one of their timeouts. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the fourth quarter. They'll look to throw here. Sliding out of the pocket. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
As soon as I saw him break contain and get outside, my first thought and my eyes gravitated downfield, because nowadays, most of these quarterbacks, when they do that, they want the big play downfield. They don't want to throw it short. In this case, he took the shot. It fell incomplete.
And he's going to be stopped up at about the 47-yard line. And his defense here going to burn their second timeout. But you can also factor in another timeout that they'll get when the clock stops at the 2-minute warning. And they'll need the 39 here for a first. This is 3rd down. They'll set up a throw. And able to catch it on the left sideline, but they're going to rule him out of bounds. So it'll be incomplete. Certainly one they'd like to have back as it brings up 4th down. And on now is the punter, as he'll punt it away for the second time. And here's a very low line drive, almost whiffed on it. So that'll be marked down as a 19-yard punt. And the Patriots take over. This is 1st and 10. Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. This pass down the field for Gibbs. And that's caught inside the 30. And he will step out of bounds here inside the 30. So they elect to decline it.
And why not? Just go ahead and let the play stand, and they'll take that.
Here's 1st down. They'll throw with May. Going down the middle, and it's complete. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Patriot touchdown. A great effort there. 28 yards. And the Patriots have retaken the lead. So now an extra point doesn't help much. They'll try to go for 2 to make the difference a field goal, and they can lead it by 3.
Will line up for a 2-point conversion.
May going to try to throw for it. That's caught at the 1. And he will not get there. He comes up short. And they're unable to push this lead to a field goal as it'll remain a 1-point game. After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away. And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. And he's able to get this across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down officially at the 21. They'll come up 1st and 10 here. Back to throw. Pass complete, got it. And he is going to get out of bounds with the 1st down. So that's going to double their pleasure for sure. They get the 1st and save a timeout.
1st and 10 at the 45-yard line.
Back to throw. He delivers another to Goddard, complete. Still fighting for more. And he's going to get out of bounds with the 1st. And they are knocking on the door of field goal range now. That's what they need right now. Get the 1st down, get out of bounds, stop the clock.
Just playing smart football, understanding the situation, making the plays necessary, and making sure that clock stops at every opportunity.
On 1st down, they'll go to the ground attack. And he'll bring this one inside the 35.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on 1st down, that fits the bill.
Here's 2nd down and 3. They'll look to throw. He finds his man, complete. It's Clark. Now with just 1 second showing on the play clock, we're going to get a timeout, as the clock will stop with 21 seconds to go in the football game. And here's another kneel down as they'll try to set up the game winner. Now here's a timeout, as they will indeed call it with 5 seconds to go and a chance with a field goal to win the game. And now it all rests on the right foot of their kicker. And the clock will now stop as a timeout is called with 5 seconds left. A little unconventional, but another kneel down here as they work towards a field goal try. Now the offense will burn their 3rd and final timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. And his kick is right there. It's good. And this home crowd is in a frenzy as their guys have pulled it out of the end. What a ball game this was. What an atmosphere this was. And the home team getting the late touchdown, getting the victory, and now everybody in this building can file away with smiles on their faces.
And what do real estate people tell us all the time? It's location, location, location. So being at home, that can be a big deal because remember, they were down to their final chance to retake the lead. That home field advantage, I think it helped fuel all of what happened for them down the stretch. A huge win.
So for Toronto, the win gets them back to 500 at 6-6 on the year. And they'll be able to enjoy this one through the bye week before they get back at it again. Meanwhile, for the Patriots, their luck may have run out as they fall to 4-7 now on the year. And they'll try to rebound next week on the road in Nashville. That'll do it for us. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. Thanks to our entire crew as well. We'll talk to you next time. So long, everybody.